ready fountain to the store.
Good evening once again, and welcome to We Culture, where we missed last week. Of course, we did inform you that we were going to be out, but we're back this week, and we ready to go. Well, Doc is here with me. We hope that the others would join us. I haven't seen them yet, but as the folks say, the show must go on. Yes, indeed, and so it has to. So tonight, we welcome all of you, our viewers on GBN Television 711, our friends on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and of course our listeners on K105 FM. It's a pleasure as always, and we're looking forward to have fun and of course to go back a bit, and come through the years and see how, the culture has changed and rechanged, and, it's a way of life. And of course, with that, there are many transitions. So tonight, we're talking about funerals. But before we do that, of course, Doc is here. Doc, good evening, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm pretty good. As you mentioned, I went to a funeral this evening, so I kind of freshened my memory. But I just want to say, again, good night to all the listeners on the various medium. We are happy to have you again tonight. Seems like we're missing two of our other colleagues. Hopefully they will join us soon. But even if they don't, as Godfrey said, the show goes on. But Godfrey, before we go into the meat of the thing, there are three small items I want to point out. First, I would like to congratulate you, man, on a well-executed Legends in Concert. I remember there was one time when I went and you had on the Smith, and was it Tutu Shovington?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that to me was what topic. But this one this year with basically a cast almost local, I thought that they did well, and serious commendation to Papa Jerry.
Oh yes,
I really love Papa Jerry's performance.
Jerry Squeezy.
Papa Jerry, yeah, Papa Jerry was having a ball of a time, and I particularly love, But Jerry, let it go, man. Let it go. This whole bad thing, man. Let it go, Jerry. What kind of thing is that?
Jerry.
Let somebody tell Jerry. I say, you have to let it go, man. I mean, a ball of a time.
Definitely.
So that was one thing. So I thought that basically everybody gave a good account of themselves.
Oh, indeed, yes. I thought.
Day, and I would talk about him when he's in his presence, but since he's not here, not much. But as usual, he was the boss.
Yeah. I mean, I from the time Superstar hit the stage, she was phenomenal. I think she came out there and she set the bar so high that those guys, they didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice. They had to step up, and I think we've gotten a lot of wonderful reviews. And as you said, I'm quite happy that with such a heavy local contingent, those artists, they held their own and they did well. Another thing that really got me was the fun that these guys were having. They had their own little show in a little corner. It was just so wonderful to see our Calypsonians liming and chatting and just, enjoying themselves. That to me was a highlight, and I really enjoyed that part of it.
Well, I noticed that. They were all on the side and they were laughing and having fun and dancing and things. So, to the music of other Calypsonians, other local Calypsonians. So that was really good.
But I see you in videos singing and things too, man. I video you singing. And I'll just show it, I will show the video. I'm ready at the house. But I will show it.
Are we singing?
Yeah.
Well, you see me moving my mouth. I hope nobody hears it.
We are the tape. James was a lion, I the tape,
Well, you know what? I take in practice next year.
You take it back?
I want to make my debut.
Think I make a night moon instead, because yes.
But for the second item I went to this science fair they had at the Trade Center again on Wednesday. And it was such a beauty to see so much of our nation children, many schools participating. But what really stood out is that all the children were charged with the responsibility to present their work. And the secondary school children were on top of the game. But the primary school children, seriously, was it so heartwarming. Because I always thought that our nation children are shy and
Shy?
I was so... Yeah.
No, man. Listen.
It was so good to see our nation children looking at you in the eyes and explaining what they did and the work they did. I was not able to talk to all the various school children, but I spoke to more than half. And commit me with maybe a level of biasness. I can't help but single out Cali's government school.
Mm-hmm.
The children were like that, tiny, and I remember a little girl. She was just explaining, to me and next two adults. So I really, all the children were really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to commend the organizers, and I thought, that was so heartwarming to see the children.
But I'll tell you something, Doc. I'm not surprised, because if you like pay attention, even at the pre-primary level, the teachers are doing a good job when it comes to these science fairs, So they do have their little things. Not at the level of the primary and of course secondary, but they start getting the children involved in things that are at a very early age. I recall not too long ago, the pre-primaries, they had a session. What did they have the session? Where did they have it? I can't recall right now, but they had a session, and they had their little stuff prepared. So it is not surprising that by the time they get to that level of primary and secondary, they are somewhat seasoned into the thing, so they can they're better prepared to do their presentations and explain their work and all of that, and that is a very really good thing.
And that again is also a tribute to the nations, to the principals of the various schools and the teachers, that took the time out, because I know that had to be extracurricular.
Oh, yes.
And you have to go out of your regular, maybe even financing from the school, deep into your pocket, into your school finances in order to do those projects. So again, the Ministry of Education, but the teachers and the principals of the various schools.
Don't forget, Doc. There are a lot of parents who are very much involved in supporting these kinds of initiatives. Because remember, sometimes the parents, they have to get the items that the children need, and some of them are actually present, helping and assisting. So I think it's a nice collaborative effort from all involved, ministry, teachers, principals, parents, they all come together and they make these things happen. So it is definitely a step in the right direction, a big step in the right direction for our children.
My final point before we go into the topic is that today I was going down the street, and I saw that Grenville Secondary, I believe it was a cross country or the road race. And I couldn't help but I noticed that the principal, and I hope somebody mentioned that to the principal, that I think is Mr. Hippolyte. This guy was actually running. Well, he was more walking, because at the time I saw him, he born. But he's there with his shorts and his sportswear among the children. And I thought, look at this guy, this principal, Mr. Hippolyte.
And he's there with the children,
trying to complete the track. What a source of motivation.
It is.
To see a principal hands-on with you. So again, I just want to send commendation to Mr. Hippolyte, and I hope, if you are hearing, let him know that he has been commended on this program on We Culture for that involvement, his hands-on with the children.
Yeah. Doc, and of course I know we have to go into our topic for tonight, but things like that, a lot of times they go unnoticed. So it is very important, to when we come across these things, to highlight them, because sometimes there is a way that you tend to only hear a lot of negatives, but when these efforts are made, when these kind of motivation and working hard to try to get your students, and it's no secret that there are some troublesome ones, but when you have principals and teachers who go out their way and they do what they can, like Mr. Hippolyte, running. I mean, he wasn't a Livingston in that time, but of course making that effort, to push them and to let them know, look, hey, I am the principal, but I can run with you, I can play cricket with you, I can play football with you. That is something to be commended, and it should not go unnoticed and taken lightly. So that is very important. So Mr. Hippolyte, hats off to you. It's a pity you can't run like me and Livingston, but that's all right. yes indeed.
So going into this topic, we talk about funeral, but before we reach to the funeral, there must be death. And death by itself, is a strange phenomenon, because
well let me stop you again, because and I have to laugh, because let me tell you, you mentioned death, but I think there is one little thing before that. Now, of course, we know people get sick and they die, but one sickness that no doctor can cure. And once you get that sickness, it is like almost a foregone conclusion that, as the folks say, you kick the bucket. And that is the sickness of taking. When somebody just taking, that's it. Because that is it. You take in. Taking with what nobody know, but you take in. And once you take in,
that's it.
So I think that's where you start.
I'm glad you start there, because when you say the taking, when they are at this stage, because they are still partly or mainly conscious. But Godfrey, that as a study, he just brings something to mind, that sometimes these people start seeing, they're getting calls from the parents that died years ago now. When people start to, they start to cook, they start to wash, or they start to play with the dead parents who died 15 or 10 years ago. They reach a point of no return.
Yeah.
They reach a point of no return. So that is it. But I was saying, death is a strange phenomenon, because sometimes it brings people together, it divides people. But nobody is ever able to be fully prepared, mentally for a close one, when a close one dies. So it is something that, there are counselors, there are certain suggestions, that you be among each other as much as possible. And I think that what happened, because when someone dies, is usually the village come give assistance. So the first thing that happened, apart from calling the doctor, somebody go and they start calling the dead. I mean, let me go back in time. We're going back in time. So we're going back in the 70s. We're going back in the 60s when death took place. So someone would go out in the village. And what is the famous refrain that for days to?
Sakit and palelot, man.
Sakit and palelot.
Kumale. Don't go on holiday,
John Doe. You can't call it, you say you try to put cuss on me.
No, I don't think cuss on you.
John Doe Ali. They would go around in the village saying that, sometimes ringing a bell. And they would go to the adjoining villages. So not just like if it happened in Tivoli, they would go to Poetry, they might go conference, they would go Hermitage. and they would ring out.
And walk, and they walk, and they walking, eh?
They walk. You had to walk. At that time, it was walk. So that is how death announcement.
Yeah, but hold on. I just want to go back a little bit again, where you made a point there that no one is fully prepared mentally. Well, I'll tell you something. They usually, well, in the case of sickness, like when someone maybe you have a close relative, maybe a mother, father who's already well in age, and you know that they're going to die. You prepared. You know that they are going to die. For example,
right.
They may have been in the hospital, and then you hear a common phrase where, well, there is nothing more we could do, so they would send home the patient. So you prepared, and and sometimes some people call it maybe in 3-4 days, because you look at the person and you see the gradual, how they they fade and all of that, and you see it and it will happen. So you're right. So you prepared.
Right.
But as it happened, all that preparation just disappears. And it's all way they ball it.
Yeah. People do experience grief, but again, I tell you, when you see your loved one is going on, particularly when someone is aged. I think it is different when you are younger.
Oh yeah.
But when you are aged parent and you realize that your parent probably might be in pain or so, you tend to accept. And I don't want to say that because it might sound cruel, but you kind of welcome the death sometimes.
No. It's not.
Welcome the death.
It's not cruel because sometimes especially patients who have cancer and sometimes they undergo a lot of suffering, pain and a lot of, and it's also a pressure, or a burden on the family. And so rather than seeing that loved one suffering day in, day out, and sometimes the crying and the groaning with all that pain, it is just better, and you would hear, well, better God take them. God take them. And you kind of, you prepare yourself for that, but as soon as God take them, there is a problem.
You break down.
Yes.
So after the show, the announcement, after the announcement, of course the doctor would come and the doctor would declare the person dead. But in the 60s in particularly, and 50s, 60s, what used to happen, Godfrey, is that the agencies then had what you call ice box. Ice boxes. So you would rent an ice box, and then you would fill that up with ice. Sometimes they had a bucket under to catch the water. What was the main significance of that? If they didn't want the water to fall on the ground, I yet were able to dig into that.
Yeah, but if the water kind of stays in the
house, you don't want it in the you don't, right.
But also the water can cause the body to disintegrate as well. It softens the water does that. So you need to get it out.
Right, so they had a bucket to collect the water from the ice box. So that was the only agency, so the LACO and the Artway and those guys, and that was how they used to. That's how they started.
But you forget people like Foresight and them here. Foresight, you remember Foresight and
I moved know the name.
Foresight.
Right. So that was it with the ice box, and please note that the carpenter in the village was the one that would come in the yard, take a measurement and build a coffin in the yard. And they would build the coffin at that time mainly out of breadfruit wood. Now, breadfruit is the cheapest wood. I guess breadfruit can last long. So you build, so you fold the body into a cloth, right? And I want you to notice the difference. Well, not you personally, but the audience notice the difference because you fold the person into they would say a sheet. Tie it on both ends, and that person is then placed into the coffin and buried. Now, because if you had parents in Trinidad that went to Trinidad or in England and in Russia in that time, you don't have no time to send message, etc. So what happened within two days and 3 days, that person is buried. The deceased is buried. And that is how it used to be in the early time. Now, if you fast track that, but again, one of the things that was always, we were talking about consolation and how do you help in preparing. But what would happen that your family, your relatives, some some you did not know, would live as far as on the western side, St. David, and they would come up, they would walk, they would come with flour, they come with rice, they would come with them provision.
Yes, all the yam and all these things, a
2-yard fall, and they would come and cook in the home. Now, and in that house that probably had 2 bedrooms, you might be surprised at how 12 and 15 persons sleep in there for 3 weeks.
12 is joke. Everybody all about.
Yeah, everybody's sleeping in that house, and some people would stay weeks in that house, and they would cook. And so the family member who just lost the loved one is constantly being surrounded by family and friends and noise, and sometimes and jokes, etc. But the people that
quickly, you mentioned that there would be, at night they sleep, but there were those among them who would not sleep at night. They would stay up and talk all night, because especially people who were coming from far. When they come, I mean, there is so much to talk about, so some people would talk, some would take a sleep in the day, so it kind of made things a little easier. But I have, I mean, as a fella growing up, you experience that, you go by people and they would be up all night talking about all kind of different things, and, they just chat.
Yeah. So that is, I guess, that was the real support system back then, when someone died, when you lost a loved one. So, and again, I think to note, while they had third night was not as distinct as it is now, meaning because there was so much activity throughout. So, yes, they did the sharp play, they did the religious ceremony on the third night. But apart from that, there was constant cooking and activity taking place in the yard or the house. So that was a good support.
But the people used to, you're right, because sometimes they would cutlass around the yard, cutlass, and in those days, they didn't have no weed eaters and thing, so you have people with a cutlass, they would cutlass the yard. That's how it was referred to. So you cutlass the yard. In some instances, some people were buried by the house. So you would clear area.
Well, that was a common thing. That was a common thing.
Clear area behind the house or wherever you choose to bury that person. And of course, the digging of the grave is a next thing. That was another fete in itself, because you get some couple fellas and it's in those it was reverse. You know what I mean? You didn't have.
It was reverse. And because at that time Dunfermline was raining.
Reverse and Dunfermline, man.
You're too young to remember Dunfermline.
Hey, my grandfather built the vat. What you come talking about the young? That's a respect, man. You forget that.
So I actually had a conversation with Miss Alquin, and she was seeing, those guys are during that time used to drink rum. Plenty rum. So everything was an occasion to drink rum. So you mentioned Rivers and Dunfermline. That was it at that time.
Yeah, man.
Digging the grave where rum passing, everything happening, the cooking, rum passing. So that was it. So if you fast track that, no, before we leave that era, there were family members that would come to help.
Yeah.
They would never return. They never returned.
No, they stay.
I know they never returned. They stayed in. I remember one of them stayed in Tivoli. They came to give support. They ended up staying in Tivoli. So that was it. So we move now to in the year 2025, and someone passed. No longer you have the shell, but what you find happening is that you have the death announcement. You go to the agency. The agency would embalm the body. They would dress up the body, put them in clothes. They would have death announcement instead of the shell. And based on how many names you have, once you move out of the immediate father, mother, brother, sister, you have to pay for additional names.
Yeah.
At one time it used to be $2. I don't know how much it is now extra for any other name.
There are fixed rates. There are fixed rates. Yeah, for that. Mm-hmm.
The agencies now has evolved and make things a lot easier. At the time before, when you carry in the coffin, you used to also walk with chairs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's from the home, not to the church, from the home to the cemetery. And you have chairs. When the guys and them get tired, you put it down on the chairs. Now you have the horse, and the horse has music. So we are kind of modernized.
Mm-hmm. Well, even I think maybe there's the and I think we've seen the changes over the years, because even after the walking, when the hearse came into being, then you had this, because remember that used to be a very solemn moment. People crying for days and weeks. I can recall when my grandmother died. My mother, every time she went up the road and she passed by the house, I mean, she'd be overcome with emotion, and she would just start to, bawl and it was a very solemn and sad moment with death, and the funerals, but we've seen how that has changed over the years. Yeah, people. I mean, they tell you now that they celebrate the life of the person, and then the kind of like with the funeral procession, you would hear the Rock of Ages, Clear for Me, and I'll Be Down by the River, and all these kind of. Nowadays, you don't hear that. You hear Kaiso, you hear soca, you hear reggae. I remember there was a young girl from Tivoli who died. She lived outside North America, and they brought the body back to Grenada for the funeral, and I remember distinctly when because that was accidental, it wasn't because of accidental. In fact, rather unfortunate. In fact, she was not even she wasn't part of the accident. Something was happening, and collateral damage, so to speak. Collateral damage, so to speak. And I remember when the hearse was going, they were playing that Taurus Riley song, She's Royal. She didn't get killed by a stray bullet. Yes, it was. It was. And so over the years you've seen the changes and all of that, and now you have when people go by the cemeteries, bar and all kind of thing. And maybe in the second segment we have to look at how this happy hour came into being.
Yeah, but that definitely we have to. But before we go into that,
definitely.
One of the positive thing about death is that some people that had issues, it doesn't happen with every family, but some family very happy. For the sake of mommy or for the sake of daddy, they work together, and whatsoever issues they had, they say, well, let bygones be bygones, and they work together. Mm-hmm. Of course, it has also the reverse effect. Another positive thing that happened in death is that you discover family and members of your family that you never knew before.
Oh yeah, they show up for the wheel at
right. And here come the confusion.
That's that next segment.
Sometimes or not some family that live in a next or an adjoining village that heard, and sometimes they heard 2 days after the death, so they still coming. That is why the entertainment or the support system continues. Sometimes weeks and even as one person was saying, months after. Right? So that happened. Actually, I was talking to my brother, I don't know if you remember him, Renwick, and he elaborated on how much that happened. Like he discovered how many family members of our father. And he's the one actually telling about the chairs, those so-called welcome chairs that they used to have for support system. But on the negative side, well, he has both negative and positive, but sometimes everybody wants to take something, let us say from mommy. Mommy died. You want, in the olden days, it used to be 50, 60s, you want a chain, a bracelet, you take the jewelry, somebody will come and take the pop.
You have a name for that, but you don't name for that.
I don't know the name for that. But people would come and they want something. No, some people genuinely want to take something or have something for memory, because it means something to them. But again, others just for pure greed.
Yeah. Well, and the phrase for that is that they come to fight for dead left. What? Hold on. So, but before we continue, we must take a short break here. We have a short break we need to take. Let's just take it quickly. We come in right back on the dead left. So stay with us. We'll be coming back in just a short. Yeah. All right, well.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.
Welcome to Caracou, small in size, rich in spirit. As you step off the boat, you're greeted by smiling faces and warm island vibes. Your adventure begins here. Need a cozy place to stay? The Mermaid Beach Hotel has been a favorite for years. Waterfront views, clean comfort, and located in the town. In Bogles, the Roundhouse Cottages offers rustic charm with a touch of elegance. A peaceful hideaway surrounded by nature. Prefer something private? Dong Island Villas gives you space, sea breeze, and a home away from home feel. Wake up to the sound of waves and views that stretch for miles. We're ready to welcome you. When are you coming?
Welcome to Innovative Healthcare Adult Engagement and Wellness Center, a place where every day is a fresh start for seniors 60 and over. Here, we empower you to strengthen your body, stimulate your mind, and nurture your spirit. From physiotherapy and spa treatments to computer training, games, and gym workouts. Come experience the difference. This November, enjoy our introductory special for just $100 per day. Innovative, where wellness meets joy. Call us at 404-7838 or visit us in Grandin St. George.
Are you longing to taste authentic, flavorful dishes from Thailand? Then look no further. Konthai, the newest restaurant located at the back of Galleria Mall top floor, is the place to satisfy your taste buds for Thai dishes that are well seasoned with fresh local spices. They offer a great selection of sumptuous dishes that will tantalize your taste buds. Visit Konthai today because the food is good, the ambiance is great, and the staff friendly. Available on Carabites and Yogo Grenada. For more information, call 456-0074 or visit konthaigrenada.com or stop by the new Galleria Mall, Grandin St. George. I'll meet you there.
Are you looking for a reliable, affordable, and customer-friendly pharmacy? Look no further than Hills and Valley Pharmacy, the nation's leading healthcare products and services provider. We are committed to serving you at convenient locations. Find an extensive and affordable selection of prescription and over-the-counter drugs and medical supplies at Church Street, Hillsborough, Caracou, Jubilee Street, Grenville, St. Andrew, near the bus terminal, and Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George. Our committed team is always available to offer valuable assistance for managing your health and wellness. Discover the additional benefits of our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street and our Medcare Center on Grenville Street, where we provide in-house physiotherapy, massage therapy, doctor consultations, and eye care services. Our commitment is to satisfy all your healthcare needs, including competitive prices, loyalty rewards, and special discounts for seniors. Contact us at 435-6904 and WhatsApp 535-4734. Choose Hills and Valley Pharmacy. Remember, your health is our business.
Distributed by Echo Blue Limited. Visit us on the Lansopine Main Road or call 405-4818.
At Oasis Pet and Garden, we bring you the best products at the best prices nationwide. Layers and broiler chicks. All animal feeds and supplies available, including supplements, waterers and feeders, and lots more. For the farmers, we have you covered, literally. Greenhouse plastic, premium quality ground cover, hydroponic systems, pesticides and fungicides, rain guns, weed whackers, and more. Visit the Oasis Pet and Garden today. Conveniently located along the Wester Hall Main Road, Wester Hall, St. David's, and Melville Street, St. George's. Now serving you at 2 locations. Visit us today.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso. Forget the funk and the disco.
Welcome back, folks. It's We Culture, and we're talking about death and funerals, and how, things have changed from, when many of us knew it, all right? I'm sure there are those among us now who probably have never heard of what we spoke about, like, when you had to ball out the debt, sakit and palelut, and things like that, and a lot of other stuff that some people never experience the other side of what is now happy hour, when it was the people coming who bought stuff to the bereaved rather than the bereaved having to provide for the people coming. So things have changed, and it's I guess people like myself and Doc, we are a little fortunate to have experienced both sides of the coin. Yeah, Doc?
Yeah. So you're mentioning about deadlifts.
Yeah, deadlift is a big thing. People.
So I think earlier you were mentioning when we talk about what was left behind, particularly some people, is just to maintain this sort of sentimental value and a connection to that person. So you might want a chain, you might want something of your parent, not for greed or anything, but just to make sure you have that kind of connection, something physical to remind you. But then there are other persons that come, they want to know where the land paper is.
The will, they want to. But just before you go to that, and here is where, and while yes, there are people who, would like a little token, to remember their parents by, but it also caused a little issue. Because you had instances where you have quite a few children, maybe 5-6 children, all right? And depending on probably who spent more time with the dead, they figure they should get the most valuable something. Rather than... And that problem started there.
But let me tell you, exactly what you just described is what Francis Urias Peters did in a play called The Burial of Miss
Sweetlin, right.
Person that stayed and cared for the mother, felt that they are, they should be rewarded.
Yeah.
But the one overseas who came back and maybe send a barrel once in every 5 years.
Oh, never send a barrel. Oh, never said nothing. They want to they want to fight
and
for.
They want the house. They want to know where you have the land.
They want the house. They want to know the land.
Money mommy have in the bank.
Yes, indeed.
They want to know where is the key. If there is a car, where is the key for the car? If mommy had a safe where she used to put the money, and those very things. So this what you mentioned. I'm not so sure I was very familiar with it, but dead left. Some very, very appropriate.
No man, dead left is.
Yeah, to describe that. And not that people should not benefit from their parent wealth if they pass away. But some people, it is just the pure greed. They can't wait. They don't even contribute into the funeral. They don't mourn, they don't cry. But
I have a serious problem with that. About people feeling they need to benefit from parents' wealth. Go and work for your own. If you see, here's my that I guess I put a different like a spin on the thing. And the confusion, and that's why it's so important, and maybe now this may take more than one program, Doc, I'm telling you. Because there are a lot of different facets to this thing. And this is where the importance of a will comes into play. Because when there is a will, you could fight all you want. You could vex all you want. The will is the wishes of the deceased. So a will is basically the dead speaking. So if the will say that John don't getting nothing, John ain't getting nothing. John could ball, he could fight, he could do what he want, he ain't getting nothing. But I think we could look at that on a more serious side of the whole thing. But the dead left, that is a serious thing.
Okay.
I think you're muted. I think you may have touched your speaker there. I think you're muted. Right.
So Godfrey, yes. I just lost my train. So what we were talking about the will. But you know, the will is basically a modern phenomenon. When I say that, before the property was handed down from granny. Granny say, Godfrey, that is your spot. Livingston, that is yours. You take that as gospel. You build your house to do everything on that spot. Sometimes a lot of people didn't have papers, land papers. So in the long run, what really happened, like when time for you to hand it down,
is that a problem?
I tell John Doe, your son, well, I will leave the house for you. But legally, there is nothing there.
Yeah, so, it's a problem.
Yeah. So our society was based on the promise of based on a promise. And my word was my bond. But now you have.
But you see, what has happened over the years with that? It has created the problem comes years later. Where these properties, they just lay in ruins because you cannot, there isn't an owner. Because
I've seen it all over the place, family fighting. Nobody can buy, you can
let me tell you, a lot of, we walk around and we see a lot of buildings left in ruins, and sometimes even in the city, and you might hear people saying, well, why government do get rid of them, get rid of that? Government can't touch that, because it belongs to about 10 people. One living in Israel, the next one living in the Falkland Islands, quite in the south of America, one living away. And let me tell you something. Even though you could find them, another problem arises, whether or not they are willing to sign.
Yes.
Because some of them don't agree.
Yeah, they don't agree.
I think we should bring it.
And some of them may even plan to come back, but just to say they sign over the right to a brother or a sister or a grandchild that is here. They don't have no time, they cannot be bothered.
I think maybe we need to bring in an attorney, a conveyance, to talk about that aspect of the thing, the handing down of property and how it has created problem over the years. Because you may have, for example, as you said, mommy said, well, look, you go take that spot. And Johnny go take this spot and Peter go take that spot, and over time Peter might say, well, listen, you build something in part of my spot, and so them are like 2 inches of land, and that bring in big enemy,
Just big enemy.
Yeah.
But and next thing as it relates to death, what that death does, you find some, particularly children, did not used to go and look for their parents, but when they hear the mom or the dad die, watching they cry too much. They put it on Facebook too much.
What do you? You say not easy.
Remember, and they can remember, some of them 15, 20 years, they wouldn't come, they just send. I wonder how that makes sense. Or if they live in town, they ain't visiting their parents, they ain't saying about this to say a pound of sugar.
Nothing. They don't even give their mother $1.
Yes. And then they come in budget, they cry in the body down the place. And hear what they say, gone too soon.
God knows what, so they could make you see what trouble. But then you
understand?
They don't
So we have that thing, and usually the children that stay and help
and do everything,
calm,
yeah.
They cool, they share the tears, but they don't make in all this this mawet. They don't make it on this marriage.
And these children, some of the children who do everything, who go out of their way and try to make sure that mommy and daddy happy. At the end of it, they doesn't want nothing.
Sometimes they don't get it.
But they don't even want.
Yeah.
Because that is not their, they're more focused on.
It for the year.
Yes, but I'll tell you, those are.
And next phenomenon what arises with death is what we call who has the right, legal right, who has the authority.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that one that has to do mainly with. So, John Doe married to Pauline.
Mm-hmm.
But John Doe and Pauline break up since 15, 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And John Doe living with Joan.
Mm-hmm.
Joan has done everything here for John Doe, everything. Only to realize when John Doe died that sometimes Pauline ain't getting nothing, she have no right. Her name not even something.
No, you mean Joan no getting nothing? Pauline getting everything because he married to Pauline.
Yeah, Pauline getting everything. And Pauline has the right to decide this and that, and Pauline, although she know, but Joan is the one that took care. He would distribute everything among her children and forget the fact. Mm-hmm. And those legal issues,
because
come to death is very, very hurtful.
No, but let me tell you, in cases like that, there is a way out, because Joan can go to the court and make a case for her contribution to the development of the property, and actually the court can award once she can prove. The court will award.
When Joan is in a relationship,
yes, because you see, it's based.
Although the man was married.
Yes, it's based on contribution. So if you can prove that you have contributed to the development, you're entitled to your contribution.
Well, again, when she was the one that was taking care of cooking, cleaning.
And that's the thing,
she probably didn't bring in anything financially, but she was there giving serious support.
Yeah, but let me tell you, and there are a lot of people who are not aware of how much power that kind of support has. Okay. It has support. And we will. I think it now, as we go deeper into the conversation, I think it has become more important for us to get an attorney for the next program to kind of go into detail, because we have a lot of people listening, and there are people who are not aware of their rights. They're not aware of their rights. And so, there are a couple of things surrounding that I think we need to share with our listeners in terms of helping to educate them. And while We Culture is light and, we have fun, but there are some things I think we need to put out there to help. Because in these cases, people can be rewarded for their contribution. Even
I don't know if you check the line, because checking the line.
Yeah, there are some people on Facebook, but most of them are just basically saying good night, and they're there with us. They're there with us. There isn't. I don't have anything on the WhatsApp platform. Let me just make sure. Not yet.
Right. So when you look, the other aspect that is how do you. What is the consideration? And the consideration when you have to choose. You have to choose first the suit. You have to choose. Well, the church is kind of minor. Then you have to choose the coffin, casket, the method of burial. And that one again. I just recently I had to help in organizing a funeral. And I saw I don't know if you would call it a coffin or a casket, for $29,000.
Yeah. So you never
And
hear,
I did.
you never
I
hear
did
people,
ask,
you never hear people say nowadays that it costs you more to dead than to stay alive, you know.
Yes.
What's coughing? but
So
it
then
takes us.
I did ask. I mean, people actually purchase those couples, and the young lady at the desk said, "Of course."
Let me tell you who does purchases. I want to go back to something you said earlier. That is another thing. They don't study their mother or their father. They oversee for whole to 2 years. But when mommy die, I had to give mommy a good send off. So they go spend. You have that $29,000 in your pocket, in your bank account all these years, mommy's in trouble. You ain't sending a little change for her to make sure she fortifies herself and eat good, get you nice little soup and thing. You ain't doing that. But when she dead, you spend it $29,000 on in a box to put under the ground. Hypocrisy, you call that. That's true, you. But you know that.
And when we really go into the funeral, I guess that is the question. Sometimes when you do those things, and who are you doing it for? Is it for the dead? Or is it for the living?
For yourself. For themselves. They want to make people feel like they ain't thing. They love mommy so much. They will spend $30,000 on a coffin because they love mommy. And just go back and look back. They know when last they call mommy.
And I think that is where the question of culture come in. How do we view death and our ancestors? Because while I personally might be tempted to believe it is extravagant, think about way back in history and think about like the pharaohs. When they build the pyramid, I mean they build
But as a pharaoh. Pharaoh is a king. Pharaoh is a king. That's like that's the man.
But I'm just thinking about the important place on that person in different culture. How much emphasis is placed? Do you just put somebody because dust to dust, ashes to ashes? Do you then put the person in a shroud, in a bamboo, and you continue making you use breadfruit wood and you put that person? I mean, does it make you feel good? Is it justified? Scientifically maybe it's all right, but I think what do you place on when you put a coffin? What are the thought process? Is it because you want to show that you recognize the contribution that person made to your life? I'm not so sure the thinking. It would be really good for somebody over there to.
But I think too, we have to remember that culture in itself is really not unique. It is the coming together of a lot of different cultures. That can actually evolve into a culture. I mean, in the Caribbean, we are. I mean, yes, the color of our skin and maybe a lot of the things that we do and all of that is weighted heavily from the African continent. But there are certain aspects of our culture that comes from the Europeans, because they colonized here as well, and so there are a lot of things, and maybe if we go deep, we would realize that there are a lot of European influence in our culture. Maybe not as much as the African influence, but there is quite a bit.
I'm just thinking about it. I wonder if the Africans actually use flowers. I'm not sure.
Maybe some tribes they did, maybe some didn't. But also there is, while we on that, religion also have, there are little differences with religion in terms of in terms of that as well.
Because in Judaism or in Muslim, you're not supposed to keep the body more than 3 days.
No, you're not.
3 days, and then that is it. So you bury the person in 3 days. So by but here we Now, as I said earlier on, it used to be 2 or 3 days, but that was based on circumstances.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you have to get a whole lot of ice, and secondly, by that time, the body might start to decay.
That's to decay.
Now, because of the increasing technology,
a month.
Some bodies remain 3 months, 4 months, 6 months before burial.
Because a son can't get holiday the same time, so you have to wait, and they waiting on that son, or they can't get flight, or there are a lot of little things, that can influence all of that. So it's there is so much involved, and maybe we jumping, but then again it's how culture functions. Culture doesn't follow a systematic pattern. You see changes and
our practices. But so for Grenada own, we have to you look at it in a very unique way, because what we do in Grenada is not the same. Like in St. Vincent, they have 9 nights.
Right.
We don't have 9 nights in Jamaica. I mean, what we talk about happy hour is like is small fries. In Jamaica, they do have 9 nights. I was talking to a good friend and asked about 9 nights. He said we used to celebrate 9 nights in Grenada, and I cannot remember that. I remember third night
and 40 days. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I remember. But they celebrate 9 nights.
And even that, Livingston, maybe that we left to wonder now where the roots of the 9 nights. So we have third night and we have 40 days. Where did it come from? How did we come by that as compared to St. Vincent, Jamaica having 9 nights?
But that is very biblical. If we look at Jesus, I know the Africans do celebrate a lot of 3rd and 7th, but I was not aware of 9.
Yeah, actually the first time I'm hearing that, I didn't know that.
But 9 nights is a big thing. In St. Vincent, they celebrate 9 nights, and they celebrate that in Jamaica, and it is a really, Jamaica, them guys must have live bands, and thing celebrating 9 nights. So you folks, if you want to, you can check it out on YouTube or so. 9 nights in thing. But coming back, on the 3rd night we celebrate, and we celebrate because at that time we are seeing the real spirit of the deceased would live on as it was in the Bible. In the biblical days when Jesus was risen on the 3rd day, right? So we have, as we do the chaplet, we have the songs, we do the libation, we mix up with libation. We drink rum, we have cocoa, bix and saltfish, and coffee, etc. And people come and they sing. And literally, in some quarters, it's dying. It's still very powerful around my part of the woods around here. We still have the 3rd night, and sometimes based on who died, again, based on who we accrue some importance to. It is bigger than other time, than other persons on.
But let me ask, the 3rd night or the nights thing, is it heavily centered around Catholicism? Because I don't know if 7 days and so do that, do they? I don't recall.
I know.
I don't think so.
They don't.
Right. So then again, the influence of religion.
Catholicism. But I go tell you what I find. What is happening with this 3rd night is being introduced. Again, particularly. Sorry, folks. I'm talking from my own environment. Around the Table area, a lot of drums now are being infused in that kind of celebration. Based on the person, guys come get drums, and a lot of drums take place. So we have the whole group of the Catholic people that would do their thing, and then later on they will do the same singing, but it would be accompanied by a lot of drums and other music, and guitar, and so that is banjo that take place.
Well, that's going to praise.
Godfrey, I always have to go in praise. You
don't know praise?
You don't know about that, no?
I don't in praise?
You don't know about praise? Well, Godfrey, where you live in Dundee? Who's praise? You don't know about praise, Godfrey.
But I know about praise, boy.
Yeah?
I sing in praise, all kind of thing. I could show you. Watch. You want me to make Timon put up a video with me singing in praise?
Well, that could be when you still have a lot of hair in your head.
Well, man. Listen up.
Yeah. But we have a lot of praise around.
I'll be chairman in prison.
Are you going to be chairman and you're not a Catholic?
You don't that. If you're a good chairman, you're going to chair the press.
Yeah. And you know, funny thing, as we're talking about culture, how the culture evolved. Because the forebearers before us were people like Miss Jean and those people like Clifford and them. Now we have
Mr. Botti,
the offspring that now based in New York, and when somebody from the immediate area, like Poetry around and Grenadians, guy of the Dominic and those guys and them, they are the one Willie and them that is having the sunlight.
But we have a nice praise side from Tivoli. They just go different places.
We have a nice group right now.
I know. Gwen and
Gwen.
One
thing about the church that
you have Gwen. You have I forget she name. She living down by in Joan Baptist down there.
Telma,
Nicole.
Nicole is easy remain from Jane and
yeah, of course, yeah. No man, you ever know, and you tell me I know about praise. Listen, I bet you know Chantinelle Chloe.
No, I never done that.
Wait. Are you talking about? Are you telling me I was them days too? I tell me I know about praise. Chantinelle Chloe, that is the team song for praise.
Yeah, that is the there's a song they usually used to sing when you're ready to go. That's the one I'd like when time to go and eat. Get your saltfish and bacon and
you have to bring that will in mind. Bring it to that will in mind.
Yes, that's
I know the truth. That man don't believe I don't share praise. What? Somebody don't tell you what. You have to bring it to that will in mind. You have to bring the rum and the buns and listen. And they set ways, it's not just anyhow, you have certain times and what you have to serve, what weight, and you have to, that's a good thing, man.
Well, no, and for sure, those on the table should be served first.
Yeah.
And there's an order. Mm-hmm. And the rum used to pass in an order.
Yeah, you have to pass it. You have to pass with that. But you can't forget, you have to pass it with a will in mind. You can't give it over your conscience. You have to pass it a will in mind.
You have no calls.
Well, we're going to open the phone lines. So, folks, the line is open. The number is 435-2041. We do have a time we could take some calls. So, you can give us a call and share your thoughts with us. Maybe the experience in your area, maybe where you are, might be slightly different from, because we do have the little subcultures and the little adjustments as people, move around. So, give us a call, 435-2041, and you can share, your experiences with us as it relates to things like that. But it's very interesting, and it's an integral part of our culture, and who we are as a people, the way we do things. So it is important because I know, for example, Doc, the way we do things in Tivoli, and so maybe folks in Grand Dance, and so they may have a slight twist to it, and influenced by different things. So we'd love to hear from you. 435-2041, your thoughts on all of that. So that you can put all of these things into good context. But while we wait, though. And talking about all of this and the praise, and so usually when you have the praise, a lot of people come around, and one of the things, Doc, you hear, like if you are wrong and you pay attention, you hear a lot of very interesting conversations. And
even before going into the conversation, apart from the fact that it's dying, it is really a time again when the community come out and give support to the family of the deceased. So in praise, still happening, people would bring a case a case of that. Well, when my mom died, she said no happy hour.
Right.
She didn't want any happy hour. But lo and behold, these people just drop in without question. You know, a case of Carib, a case of this, a case of that. People decided
because that was a tradition. That's how it was, you know. So
right.
So it just, you know, it's just natural that you follow suit.
So while they say respect the dead, but we had to do it. We had to because people came so we had to distribute the goods and things. So we did that. But still happening. People would drop something. Somebody might decide, okay, they would do something with saltfish. Saltfish sauce. They would do some saltfish sauce. Some people might bring some bake. Somebody might bring a tin of coffee. Some people bring a pot of cocoa tea. Or so.
Buns was a staple. Buns is a staple in yeah. So we have a caller. We have a caller on the line. Let's go to the telephone and see who is with us. Oui Culture. Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Yes. Go ahead.
You know, once upon a time, 5 pounds could have buried a dead. When people get a 5 pounds from the society, that is $24.80, and that was enough to bury a dead. You know?
Okay.
You go by in them days where the carpenters come around. The other seamstresses in the area, they sew up something. You buy some cheap crap, they sew up something, and the laborers do the grave, and that was enough to bury a dead.
Right. But what do you know about the so for example the building of the coffin and things like that? What did they use? How did they?
Well, I know in St. Andrews, Tino used to be selling the what you call it, the handles and things for the coffin. So maybe in them the other would cut in the area. Bring a 2 piece of board. The carpenters come around, they build the coffin, and then you buy your varnish and thing, and you and that do it.
Yes, I remember that.
There were some times when even people couldn't afford to buy the varnish, and there's something in the bush they call oku. They used to take that and color the coffin.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that one. All right. Well, thank you very much, caller. Thanks a lot indeed. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know about that, Doc.
You know what is oku?
Yeah, and that is in the something a red thing in the pot, like, right?
It is a red thing.
Yeah.
It's really a major dye.
It is.
Product.
It is. Yes. I know it. Yeah. Very interesting. 435-2041, folks. That's the number you can call, and you can definitely be part of the discussion and share your experiences with us on things like that, because it's very, very interesting. And some of the young ones who are listening on, I am almost certain that some of these conversations they've never came across that, and they might are amazed at how things happen then, compared to now. Even just going back, Doc, to the balling out of the debt as compared to what we have now, social media and everything like that. So that was very, very interesting. Let's go back to the telephone. We have another caller on the line. Oui Culture, good evening.
Good night, Mr. Godfrey and Livingston. How
are you going? Yes.
I'm okay. What I want to share, in my time growing up, I grew up with my granny, and then I know we have...
that's in which area?
Yes. Calling from like south.
No, you're south, but just you, as you mentioned, growing up with your granny, if it's in the same south. So I'm just trying to see if there are any differences in, how things were done up by us in Tivoli as compared to down by your side. That's why I ask. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I know is like when you're growing up, like, and you have a dead. Well, according, in those times, like, according to the time the person die, the lakwa can come for them.
Right.
Evening. So they have what you call a week. A week and the praise is two different. Because if the person died late in the evening, lakwa and them ain't coming. So the people in the village come in and keep those in the household with the dead.
Company.
So
that's the same night of the death?
The same night of the death.
Right.
Because for instance, when my great-grandmother died, my grandmother sleep with her in the same bed. And we was on the floor in the room because she put her head by her mother's foot that's sleeping, and and that's how they lie on the same bed. And then you have the praise, which the 3 days praise or whatever they call it.
Night, yes.
Yeah, night praise, where you bring in the cow, the cocoa, tea and bakes and the whole thing in the night and so forth. And then you still have, like a coffin. If they can't get thing to do the coffin, they'll take out a board that's only on the board in the back door, or they get some old big salvage box and they make the coffin. And that's what they use. Yeah, but those days was good days. And you had to sometimes you as young boys just sleeping on the floor, and the men singing and stamping the floor and thing. And then this thing like the happy hour, what I know used to go on, is not really happy, but the day when they're going to bury, because they may hardly dig the grave 3 days before or whatever. They dig in the grave from the morning. So they're cooking the food for them people that come by the house and who help dig the grave and thing. That was the only thing. But now the happy hour is a bigger thing. I don't know. It's a big after party. Yeah, but and in my granny time, there was more different things going on. But we don't know about that. But that's as far as I know. Yeah, that's what I could share with you all.
Okay, thank you very much.
But as well, I live in another country and I know about other culture where they do different to us. Like they dig in the hole, like you're going down the 6 feet, and you stand up and they dig a hole inside. They make a cave and they push the coffin inside there, because they say ghosts cannot come and take the body. If you put the body straight down, the ghost will come and take the body. So they hide in the coffin. After you go down 6 feet, you stand up, they dig in a cave like and push the coffin inside it. That's a different culture. I experienced that with African culture. Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Doc, I remember the wake. You hear about the wake, and as he mentioned it, I do recall, the night of the death, people would be up and chatting and doing all sorts of different things.
Well, from the time of the death, everybody bring things. So I think earlier on what I was explaining, people bring things from near and far, and they come to cook. So they would take over the work of the householders. Mm-hmm. They will cook for them, they will continue cleaning for them, etc. So it's usually other auntie, uncle, good friend from the neighborhood, starting with the neighborhood, starting from the family members that is outside, that would bring things. That's why they come with, sometimes they come with a yard full, they come with peas, they come with drums over and everybody add flowers, and they come and cook. So they take away the workload from the householders, and it's like a party from day one.
Yeah. Let's take another call. We have a caller on the line. Oui Culture, good evening.
Hi, good night.
Yeah.
Just a couple of comments.
Can you turn the volume down? Yes, please. Thanks.
Yes, just a couple of comments on the what we call the happy hour. Mm-hmm. And I may very well be wrong, because I may be just talking about it from one area, right? Mm-hmm. How I remember it started was that when you had funerals, or let us say you had deaths, and people started moving around with buses, etc., to get to the area where their family would have died and be buried. So let us say I could remember going to Grenville, because I have a lot of family in Grenville. And when you got up there, so you leave St. George, those days funerals started more like 3 o'clock and so, right? But when you left St. George's around lunchtime, around 12, and you got up there and funeral was finished, the family up there would just make some juice and sandwiches for the persons who came from far, right? And they, because they came from far, left early, they would make this very light snacks for the family who came from like other parts of the country. And then it started with that, and then everybody start eating out of it, and it just swelled from there. But before the 70s, there was nothing like happy hour. Happy hour is really a new thing, right? Mm-hmm. And that is how I remember it started. It's very small. A couple of you could choose 5, 6, or 7 dishes or 4 different meats, manicure everything, eh? But that is how it started, with just a couple light refreshments for the people who came from far. So I just wanted to other persons might have their memories, but that is how it started.
Yeah. Before you go to caller, I was kind of the impression that the happy hour that we see now came from England. You know, I mean I don't know, but somehow that was the impression I got. I didn't realize it started, and maybe you're right. It probably started there, and maybe when the those blokes, as they call them, from England came in, they came in with their own little thing, and of course, and that's how these things work. It expands.
It expanded. A good amount would have been added from or, but like I say, and it developed really slowly. Like I say, from just the start with juice and sandwich and a couple maybe pieces of country cake, right? Mm-hmm. And buns, and then when everybody started staying around, so the whole funeral started staying around because the people from town get in, or the people from the distance come in, and then everybody started. Well, if everybody's staying, more preparation started to be made, and then meat came into the picture. And no, I could choose 5 or 6 different dishes and choose which happy hour to eat from, because actually in some areas or some families you have 3 happy hours in the same funeral. I've witnessed that a lot.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, indeed. Doc, I think we maybe next week we can delve deeper into happy hour and maybe touch some other areas that we haven't touched, because we basically out of time. So we had to kind of wrap it here, folks, but we will continue next week on that same topic, and we'll have more time to look at the happy hour and the actual funeral itself, how it's done, maybe the different rites and everything like that. Then of course there's the issue of the bars at the cemetery, and there is so much to talk about. So we that's all the time we have. So Doc, let me give you a 2 minutes to kind of just summarize what we spoke about, and then we would wrap for this evening and then continue next week.
Well, I think we cover most of the grounds that we look at. We look at death, and some of it's positive, in terms of unifying family, sometimes just unearthing family members that you never knew and bringing people together. Mm-hmm. The community coming to give support to you and the household, that sense of community. So that, to me, was some of the positive things about death. Again, on the downside, you lost a loved one, and nothing can replace, particularly a young person.
Yes, indeed.
And there is nothing, you could replace that, no matter how much people try, but the family and community sometimes do try to console you. So that is where the intention was for we to be tonight, and next time we will go into actual funeral day, and that was really happy or was relatively touched on that.
Yeah, the preparation at home.
I just want people to just a promo here. There will be some drumming, serious drumming, drum nighting tomorrow at the Tivoli Cultural Center, 7 o'clock. Come with your drum. It's not a performance, it's a performance, so we expect you to get involved. So come with your drum, come with your voice, come with your dancing feet, and then we just have a ball of a time. Godfrey?
I will come in that. I will come in and go some jump with the girl there. I tell you, I come in and go some jump. You know about the jump. You know, it's a real job. Listen, that's the only job I know.
We grew up in the same area, and we both know. So I ain't teaching nothing new. When we used to sit down around the tree and our grandparents tell us stories, they used to say, start. When it's not true, they used to say, creak. What is the other one?
Doc, don't try that kind of thing. You know either a Tivoli drummer, you know about any drum, you know I could be drum. You know that, don't say that, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you know that. Anyway, folks, that's a different program. That's a program in itself. But you know, I really enjoyed that discussion. You know, on this whole funeral thing. There's so much different parts to it. You know, there's a humorous side, there's a serious side, there's a happy side, there's a sad side, and of course, we continue that discussion next week. So we thank each and every one of you, you know, for your calls, your contribution, and we're looking forward to doing that again next week. Doc, somebody sent me a WhatsApp saying that you know, when you have death, there are people who come out all over. They come to thief. They come to look to thief. So they just lock up all the valuables in one room so nobody can go inside there. That is true.
That's a side effect. That is definitely a side effect.
They come into thief. Definitely. So you know, there is so much to talk about. So we're looking forward, and of course, I don't know if next week or probably the following week, we definitely would look to get an attorney to come and speak about the importance of the wills and things like that, because it does, at death, it can impact families in positive ways and in very, very negative ways, and it is something that we should try to avoid. That is the negative aspects of things. So it's important that people, you know, prepare your will. Whatever it is, prepare your will so that, you know, families don't end up in confusion and end up fighting for dead left. So, folks, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you next week, Friday, for another Oui Culture. All the best, and do have a good night.
A little more Shango. Kindly greasy pole, and we got dance from the